It's been almost 1 year since Mike Capaccio became the athletic director here at the Citadel. I sit down one-on-one with him for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Listen to this interview Wednesday on iHeartRadio. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Mike Capaccio, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Glad to be here, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Oh, same here, because obviously you are the athletic director here at the Citadel, and I know that you were named the athletic director August 15th last year.
Yes, sir.
What is the biggest difference between August 15th of last year and now in your mind?
Well, you know, coming into the program, I pretty much knew what was going on here. I was pretty familiar with it, being vice president for development.
Yeah.
But right now, the biggest difference is I just see a change in what's going on with the department, and it's a very positive change. And that hasn't always been only been with athletics. It's been across the board with the campus. A new president came in. We have a lot of new leadership and new people in new roles and things like that. So that's the biggest change for the whole Citadel, as well as that's come over to the athletic department.
Yes. What are those positive changes right now?
Just positive changes, moving forward with trying to build some facilities, improve some facilities. Okay, this year we've got some new stands we're working on in the gym. We did the track last year. We've done the floor and the scoreboard and things like that. We have a new turf field going in, you know, this fall in November, so we're excited about that. We have money to totally renovate our weight room, so that's very exciting. And then we've taken on some small projects like locker rooms and things like that to help improve the cadet experience, and that's what I want to do here.
And I know you talked with the Post and Corey last year, and they basically said, hey, the Citadel announced last month that it would delay renovation of the east side of Johnson Hager Stadium by at least a year due to fundraising and logistical concerns.
Yes.
What concerns do you have right now?
Money. It's all about fundraising right now. The East Side Stands is in the TCREF, working with the foundation now, okay, the real estate foundation. So that's kind of in their court. We have just put together a detailed plan to help raise about $2 million to get that project off the ground.
Okay.
So we're starting on that. As a matter of fact, I made some calls this week, and we've got that off the ground, but it's funding. It's all about money. That's all money has to be private money. There's no money in any other pots to put towards that. So it's funding.
Yes. And speaking of which, let me talk to you about the endowment.
Yes.
You told the Post Corey this quote, "Our future is the endowment. Our goal for the last campaign was 15 million, and we are about 19 million. We need to get to 50 million, and that's what I'm working on now. The good news is that our foundation board is putting more emphasis on athletic fundraising."
Absolutely. Right now we're at about 21,000, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, we're very fortunate today. I think this week, the last 2 weeks, we did about 6 new scholarships. So that's exciting. But definitely the foundation, the endowment is the future. When you have that money, you don't have to go out and generate and raise every year, and it's there. That is definitely the future. We were behind in the game. It took us a while to build this and to get to where we needed to get to. But for our next campaign, we'll be at $40 million for sure, and we'll shoot for 50, of course. But 50 still doesn't pay the scholarship bill. If we had $15 million right now in our endowment, it still would not pay the scholarship. We'd still be short.
Why the shortness in this?
Because every year when the cost of the school goes up, the scholarship bill goes up. So you're chasing your tail. You can't ever really catch it. When the tuition goes up, the scholarship bill goes up. So even though you're raising more money all the time, right, it's still chasing your tail. And so we need to take a stand, and we need to make this work, and also improve our annual giving, which Russell Frierson and his team has done an excellent job of, and the Brigadier Foundation is doing very, very well right now with their annual giving.
And talk about chasing the tail. Let me talk to you about the schedules coming up. Obviously, the Citadel resumes its football rivalry with Charleston Southern November 29th, and obviously that game was delayed by Hurricane Florence.
Yes.
What other games are you expecting to see? What is those must-see games in your mind?
Well, you know, this year, I'll be honest with you, our schedule is very, very difficult. You know, we're playing Townsend, who's ranked, Elon, who's ranked. Then we go to Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a tough way to start. Of course, Charleston Southern's always very salty and very good. And you know, so a great rivalry, and we want to continue that. Their athletic director's been absolutely awesome working with him on different things for scheduling. But in the future, we want to branch out a little bit. We want to play close to home. We don't want to take 8-hour road trips anymore. So all the schedule I'm working on right now between 3 and 5 hours at the maximum. But we also want to play South Carolina State. We want to play some other teams that are local around here. That brings support, it brings fans, it brings their fans, and it brings excitement. You know, we don't need to be taking a trip to Towns. And Towns is a great program, please, but we don't need to give you on a bus 8 or 9 hours to go to that. We have plenty of schools around here. So our philosophy is changing with scheduling, and we want to play close.
Close.
Yes.
Where's that philosophy right now?
Where's that philosophy right now? We have Campbell coming up. We got a Presbyterian. We're playing Coastal Carolina. We're playing Georgia Southern. So that's what we've done with all that. And a lot of those teams now are paying pretty substantial money. And so it's not that much of an offset to play in Alabama or Georgia Tech. As a matter of fact, it's very close. Plus, you have an opportunity to play with those teams, to compete with them, but they're also very close. Close. You know, Coastal Carolina is 2 hours away. Georgia Southern is 2 hours away. That's what we want to be doing. Our fans can travel there.
That's
And our fans will travel.
Mm.
You know, so that's what we feel good about.
Feel good about it. And you also told the Post and Corey this quote, those games are important to us. You said this also quote, I want to get back to playing college at Charleston and Charleston Southern in basketball and
Absolutely.
Why?
Because they're right down the street. It doesn't make any sense, again, to get in a bus, to go 4 or 5 hours to play somebody else when you have great competition right down the road. And we haven't played the college or Charleston Southern since I've been here, and not for a while. When I first got here, you know, we would play them every year. Of course, College Charleston was in our conference.
Right.
So that certainly helped. But we need to get back to playing those teams. There's no reason for us not to play those teams. And like I say, it's close. They're good programs. They'll bring fans to our gym. We'll bring fans to their gym.
Yeah.
So it's very important. It's very important. Yeah. And we're working on that right now as we speak. So
that's so great to hear.
Yeah.
You talk about obviously the athletic directors in schools. Obviously, as you know, a scandal went down at College of Charleston allegedly with the baseball coach and obviously the athletic director. If something like that would have happened here, what would you do first?
Well, first off, that can happen anywhere. You know, I stayed in tune with that at the college, but it's college athletics right now. College athletics are on the front page, and everything that happens, college athletics is the front porch a lot of times with your college, and it can be good and it can be bad. And so college athletics right now is just maintaining. It's making sure you're doing things the right way. We just had a full staff meeting today to talk about some of those things. It's really making your staff aware of some of the things that can happen if you have things that you don't follow the rules and regulations for. And it's very simple. A lot of times it's not malicious. It can happen. And so you need to be very, very careful. You need to emphasize the world's changed. The way people look at things changed. The way they look at you changed. I couldn't coach now in a million years with these kids. My coaching habits, my coaching styles were totally different. You know, now you have to be careful. You can't really yell. Everything's a catering type of thing, which is fine. That's society as we know it right now. But the world has changed in college athletics, and you have to change with it.
Change with it. And you talk about change. Obviously, Tony Scholes, the new baseball coach here. When you look at his record and his experience here, what goes to your mind?
Glad to have Tony back, number one. Tony had a tough situation. He came in. Coach Jordan left a wonderful legacy for us. But Tony's starting his own program. He's trying to do things his own way. And it's going to take some time for Tony. You know, he's got some scholarship issues he's dealing with. Some kids moving out, some kids moving on, whatever. So it's a numbers game right now for him. I have total confidence in Tony and his staff. He's a Citadel guy. You see him out of the College World Series with these other guys that are very successful. You know some of that's rubbed off on him.
Right.
So, I actually went and spoke to those two gentlemen about Tony when this process came up, even though I was not the athletic director. And they were in total support, as we all are. Tony will do a wonderful job. He just needs a little time, and people need to be patient with him. It's not easy to start over. It's really not. So excited about having Tony on board, sir.
On board.
Yes, sir.
And obviously the football season with Coach Thompson is coming up soon.
Yes. Football. Well, we got a good team. We got a bunch of starters coming back. Unfortunately, we've got the 5th toughest schedule in the country. So, we're the Citadel. We know who we are. We want to compete. We want to play good teams. But we also want a couple teams that we may be favored against. And last year, I looked at our schedule. I couldn't really tell you one team we were favored against. Maybe VMI, that was at 3rd place. Maybe Western Carolina, that was on their field. That's not favored. And so we need to work with our schedule to be more realistic, I will say, with our scheduling. We don't need to be playing 2 ranked teams or 3 ranked teams, FCS, and then an ACC team, and then going into our conference, because our conference is a monster. As you know how much better our conference has got.
Right.
They're all good. Furman's good. Walmart's good. East Tennessee State's coming. Sanford's, all these teams are competitive. Chattanooga.
Right.
So, Not that we want an easy schedule, but we do need a little break. Just like everybody has.
Right.
Remember, you look around the big schools, they're taking a break once in a while too. And so we have total faith in what Coach Thompson did. He's done an outstanding job. We're going to have a very good year this year. We were very competitive last year.
Yes.
Really, look, you were a couple points away from winning 2 or 3 more games.
Right.
So he's done a tremendous job. And what he's really done is, within the program, making people do it the right way. He's very conscientious of that, and we're very proud of him for that.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
And I know you still have faith in Coach Doug as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, you look at Coach. Last year, okay, we're out 9-2. We lost a couple games. We could have won there. And to be honest with you, 3 games could have swung very easy. 4 or 5 could have swung very easy. All of a sudden, you're 17-14. You know, whatever, 16. You have a winning record. This league is no joke for basketball now. I mean, so you gotta look at who you're playing. East Tennessee State, Furman's good. Walford's very, very good. UNCG, I mean, these teams all won 24, 25, 26 games last year. You know, so there is no easy teams in this league.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, let's be honest, the Citadel has not had a deep history of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
This is a program, a school that's won 20 games 2 times in school history. And when you think about that, it's astounding to me. We've had 2 21 seasons, and we haven't had a 21-win season. So, not a lot of history on the basketball side. He's doing a good job. Again, he does I think his GPA this year for his team was 3.3. So he's doing things the right way. But this is not an easy place to recruit basketball players to.
Mm-hmm. How would you change that around?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you can. I think the one thing we might try to do is try to get some veteran students in, possibly some older gentlemen that are coming back to school that, you know, are a little bit older, a little bit more salty. Maybe give us a little advantage of trying to do it that way. But this is it's a very difficult job. It's out of the big 3 sports, it's by far the most difficult. It's kids nowadays have changed. Instant gratification. You look at the transfer portal. There was 1,100 Division I transfers this year. That's almost 3 a school. It's hard to build programs like that. And it's instant gratification in basketball. If I'm not playing, I'm not getting my shots. I'm going somewhere else to do it.
Mm-hmm. What can we expect from the Citadel Athletic Department in 5-10 years under your leadership?
Well, what we want to do is, number one, get financially sound. That's the most important thing. We have to manage the budget. We have to fall in line with that and make sure financially we are very, very sound. A lot of that comes through fundraising. So, and that's where I came from. That's my history. That's my strength.
Right.
So we want to use that. What I've done right now is I've empowered a lot of our senior staff to take different roles so I can get out and raise money and still meet with donors and things like that. I still have a portfolio and things like that. And so if we're going to make a difference here, it's going to come through fundraising. Mm-hmm. So what I want to do is, number one, I want to improve our cadets' experience. Okay, I want to enhance what they're doing here, and that includes nutrition. The new weight room will help. Our equipment, we have a great contract with Adidas, but you know, everything from academically, study halls, how do we eat them, how do we feed them, how do we clothe them, how do we train them, that has to improve. That has to improve. We have to make our cadet athletes' experience better on campus, and we do that, and a lot of that comes through money. We've been very fortunate. We've raised some money to help with nutrition. You know, we don't have training tables. So you come in and you eat with everybody else. There's no training tables. Wow. And so a lot of times with classes and conflicts and things like that, that's why the nutrition piece, and I'm not talking about creatine and mixing up all these crazy drinks and things like that, but you know, nutrition bars and some other things like that, something as easy as chocolate milk. Right. But we have to help, and we have to make these young people's experience better. A lot of that comes with facilities. Sure. And if you look around, you know, last couple of years we put the practice facility in, the new track, new scoreboard, new basketball floor, we got new turf going in, we'll take the east side stands, the new weight room, new bleachers in the gym. That's how you enhance their experience, providing better facilities and really looking at that as a whole and making that a priority. So, yeah, but fundraising is the key for us. We're not going to get any more money from the state, we're not going to get any more money from the school, we're not getting any more money. So if we're going to get better, and we're not going to sit around and complain about it, we're going to go out and do it ourselves.
Mike Capaccio, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Glad to be on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.